very limited kind of lifestyle. They had very simple laws. As time went on, Sharia after Sharia, code of law after code of law kept coming, and it became more and more detailed and more expressive, because humanity was becoming more and more complicated, their understanding was progressing, and hence we culminate with the final religion, which is Islam. Once Islam has come, now the progression hasn't stopped. Unfortunately, many Muslims would like to believe that we have stopped. Job is done, the game is over, the Prophet came, he gave us Quran. No, not at all. We are still progressing, and we are still opening new horizons of thought, understanding, closeness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when it comes to Imam Zaman, it becomes even more special. This is what we believe. We believe that the zuhur of Imam Zaman has to happen, then raj'at has to happen, and then only the world can end. It is like a prelude, it is like a one stage before Qiyamah and the Day of Judgment and Akhirat. This is a journey of humanity. So we see the zuhur of Imam Zaman in this context, that humanity has to go through these things. There has to be the zuhur, there has to be the rajat, there has to be all those things, and then and only then can this world end and fold, and then the hereafter can begin. Second point is that we believe he is currently alive, whereas all other religions and sects believe that he will be born in the future. We believe that he is alive right now, and he has a fundamental role to play in the world right now. It's not that he's sitting somewhere alone on a green island. We've heard that. He's sitting in a green island, he lives in a green island, he lives in the Bermuda Triangle. No. Those kinds of understandings, maybe once upon a time we used to speak about that, but that has to now be corrected. He is alive and present in a very real sense. It's not just like he's a wisp of smoke which floats around the world, or he's just like a spirit which is observing the world. No, he is alive with a physical body, with a physical manifestation, a human being on this earth, living, breathing the air that we breathe, looking at the same sun that we look at, looking at the same moon that we look at. He's alive in a very real sense. Thirdly, and this is probably the most fundamental point in terms of our interaction with the Imam. Because we believe he is Hayy and Hazir, alive and present meaning, as we will discuss. What we say is, if that is the case, then we definitely have obligations towards him. He's not like Nabi Isa, who has been taken up by Allah, and he is somewhere outside this world. No. He's a real human being, and we have obligations towards him. So inshallah, with that introduction, we will now proceed into the details. So we have this belief. Look at these words of Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. This is how real the situation is. Sixth Imam says, Sahibu hadhal amr, the master of this affair. Sahibu hadhal amr, the master of this affair, this end of times, this world that we live in. What does he do? Yataraddadu baynahum, he walks amongst the people. Azizan, it could be, inshallah, if we are lucky enough, it could be that our shoulders have brushed against his blessed shoulder. It could be, maybe we have seen him. It could be that he has been present where we have been present. It could be that somehow, somewhere we have interacted with him. This is why when he actually reappears, when the zuhur happens, we are told that many people will say, we know this person, we have seen him, we have interacted with him. Somehow, somewhere, it could be that Imam Zaman has actually played a physical interaction in our life. So number one, Imam Sadiq says, يَتَرَدَّدُ بَيْنَهُمْ, he walks amongst them. وَيَمْشِي فِي أَسْوَاقِهِمْ. He walks in their markets. Meaning, he walks the streets. He walks in the places where we usually are. He walks in the normal places of humanity. It doesn't mean he's just reserved in Makkah only, he's just reserved in Mashhad, or he's just reserved in Najaf. No. Yes, of course he goes to those places, definitely. But he walks in their markets. وَيَتَأُ فُرُشَهُمْ. And he steps on the same carpet as they do. He steps on their carpets and rugs. Meaning, even he could be somewhere like a very familiar place to us, where we will be familiar. We know from the 8th Imam that surely Imam Zaman will be in Hajj every year. Those of us who have been fortunate enough to go for Hajj, you can be sure, if there's one place that Imam Zaman will be, it is in Hajj every year. This is why one of the key things, the drivers behind our Hajj, is that maybe we will meet the Imam. Finally, hadith from Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Inna hujjataha, surely the hujjat of this time, qa'imatun mashiyatun fi turukiha. The master of this world, the master of this earth, is walking on the roads, is walking in the pathways. Dakhilatun fi duriha. He enters houses. Wa kusuriha, and the mansions and the palaces. Jawalatun fi sharqi hadhihi al-ard wa gharbiha. He is present in the east and the west. He's, throughout the world, his presence is there. Tasma'ul kalam. He hears our words. Azizan Girami, he hears our words. This is very, very motivating, but also sometimes a little bit scary as well. He hears our words. Tasma'ul kalam. Ayatollah Bahjat used to say, what is the distance between a person's mouth and their ear? Few inches. He says, when you speak something, it takes a split second for those sound waves to travel into your ear, correct? When you speak something, you hear it. He says, before your ears hear your words, Imam Zaman hears your words. That is how real his presence is. That is how real his life is. When I say he's not just a puff of smoke traveling around the world, this is what I mean. It's a very, very real and immediate life of Imam Zaman. Tusallimu ala al-jama'a. He offers his salam to people. How many blessings in our life there must be because Imam Zaman has said salam to us, inshallah. How many blessings in our life there must be. How much peace and blessing in the world there must be because of the presence of Imam Zaman. Tusallimu ala al-jama'a. He says salam to you. Hence, one of the most brilliant things, if I can leave this with you in this Muharram, one of the most brilliant things to do every single day, when you wake up, your Imam is remembering you. He's saying salam to you. When you wake up in the morning, first thing, say salam to your Imam. Start your day with Assalamu alayka ya sahib az-zaman. Assalamu alayka ya baqiyat Allah. Whatever words you want to. If you don't know the Arabic, don't worry. Just say salams to you, O Imam Zaman. I greet you, I salute you, O my Imam. Start with those words. In any language. Even in Swahili you can say, no problem. He remembers you, he says salams to you. You should also say salam to him. He's thinking about you, he's caring for you. You should also think about him and do things to care for him. How do we care for him? Give sadaqah in his name every single day. Before you give sadaqah even for your near and dear ones, there is no one more near and dear to us than Imam Zaman. Give sadaqah for him. Say to Allah, oh Allah, I'm giving this sadaqah, whatever it is, $1, 50 cents, whatever you can afford, whatever is in your capacity. Oh Allah, every single day I'm giving this sadaqah in the name of my Imam. Oh Allah, keep him safe. Keep him pleased. Bring some peace to his heart. Bring a smile to his face that this lowly servant of his has remembered him. Tara wala tura. He sees, but he is not seen. He sees. He knows what's happening. Don't think that ever that Imam Zaman doesn't know what's going on. One of the biggest peace of our heart, sukoon of our heart, is that Imam Zaman knows what we are going through. He knows what this world is going through, he knows what is happening, and he is watching. So he forms a very big part of people's sadness and happiness. He joins in their grief and joy. They see him but they don't recognize him. In hadiths, again, as I said, that when he will reappear, people will say, I know this person, I have seen this person, I have interacted with this person. But at that time, maybe we didn't recognize him. But he is very, very close. Yar nazdiktar be man az man ast. There's a couplet that Imam Zaman, Yar nazdiktar be man az man ast. Imam Zaman is closer to me than I am to myself. Like, if you think that, you're bothered about yourself, we're all bothered about ourselves. Imam is more bothered than us about our own selves. Vain ajabtar. But the strange thing is, and the sad thing is, ke man az vay duram. But the sad thing is that I am far from him. Imam is not far from us. We are far from him. With a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Now the difficult question. He plays a role in my life. I am important to him. I am in his thoughts. I am in his prayers. He is looking out for me. He says salam to me. He hears me. The question is, how much of a role does he play in my life? This is the key question. How much of a role does Imam Zaman play in my life? Do I have any connection with him? Do I start and end my day totally oblivious that I have an Imam? Almost like an afterthought that yes, okay, somewhere out there must be my Imam. Or does he play a real role in my life? Many things take center stage in our life. Our life revolves around them. We have work, we have school, we have study, we have all these different events in our life. Our lives revolve around these things. How many of us revolve our lives around Imam Zaman? That we wake up in the morning and we think, is my Imam okay? In what state is he in? What can I do to help him today? What can I do for him? What can I do that impresses him? I wish he looks at me and gets impressed. I wish he looks at me and feels happy that I've got such a person with me. I wish that when he comes, whether I'm alive, then I'll join his group. If I'm deceased, then he'll raise me from the grave, like we say in Dua Ahad, that he'll raise me from the grave and I will join him. That is the key thing in this discussion. What role does he play in my life? Alhamdulillah, there are those people that Imam Zaman plays a role in their life, and their lives are completely centered around him. The unfortunate thing is, because we have never known any different, we've never lived in the time where an Imam was in front of us and accessible to us, we have gotten used to his absence, and it's almost become normal not to have our Imam with us. But this should be paining us. This should be affecting us and paining us. Now, we have this story regarding, there was a particular taxi driver in Mashhad. And what happens is that, for those of you who have been to Iran, you know that you have shared taxis. People jump on, jump off, and you could be in a car with 3 or 4 different people, they're strangers, but you're all getting on and off at different places. So this taxi driver picked up one of the scholars, and he was taking him somewhere, and another person hailed the taxi and says, stop, I want to also come on the same route. So that person got in, and this person who got in, he was a foreigner. He was someone not native to that place. So this taxi driver, he dropped him off, not to so far a distance, he dropped him off, and he charged him a very high amount, more than double, triple than what you would usually charge someone, because he thought, this guy doesn't know anything, he won't know what is the norm, so let me just take as much as I can from him. Now this foreigner, he didn't know the language, he didn't know how to debate and argue with him, he didn't know how to discuss with him, so he just took it, he took the hit. Even he looked like as well, this is a big amount, but anyway, he paid it and he went on his way. And the taxi started to go once again. The taxi begins to go, and now the taxi driver starts to speak to the scholar. He says, Haj Agha. He says, oh Sheikh, I have a problem in my life. I have all these different problems. Let's have a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He says, I have a problem in my life. This is going wrong, this is going wrong, this is going wrong. All these different problems in my life, all these calamities and bala coming upon me. So the Sheikh says to him, have some shame in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, what do you mean? He says, you're saying you have all these problems, you've just conned someone, you've just robbed someone, you've just overcharged someone exorbitantly. You knew that person was a foreigner and he didn't know the custom and he didn't know the language, so you took advantage of him. Have some shame, you're in the city of Imam Raza alayhi salam. You drive past the haram of Imam Raza alayhi salam. You look at the dome of Imam Raza, you say salam to Imam Raza alayhi salam, and yet you are able to do this in the city of Imam Raza. How much do the Imams play a role in our lives? How much are we conscious that my Imam is watching me, that my Imam knows what I'm doing? We should be conscious of this. We should be conscious that we are always in the presence of Imam Zaman, that he knows what is happening with us and he knows what we are doing. Now someone may say, well, he's my Imam, he should come to me, he should be bothered about me, why should I be bothered about him? We have this attitude sometimes, unfortunately. If, for example, sometimes we don't understand something, or it hasn't been or for example, we have a misconception about something, we are very quick to blame others. We say, for example, oh, our alims haven't explained this properly, my parents didn't explain this properly, I wasn't raised right. Yes, all those may have their own place and there may be space for those comments, but at the end of the day, everyone is responsible for their own selves. So let's have another loud salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. One more salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In the blessed life of the great lady of Islam, Hazrat Fatimatu Zahra, salamullahi alayha, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. She explains this very well. She explains this very well. It is narrated that on one occasion she had gone to the graveyard of the Shuhada of Uhud. When we go for the ziyarat of Medina, we often go for the ziyarat of Hazrat Hamza and the Shuhada of Uhud. And there are people there who will call you every name under the sun because of our beliefs. We are third-class citizens there, unfortunately. But we should go there and definitely pay our respects and pray the ziyarat of Hazrat Hamza. Anyway, in her time, she went for the ziyarat of the Shuhada of Uhud, the martyrs of Uhud. And while she was there, a man called Abu Amr, he narrates this. He says, I saw Hazrat Zahra. She entered the graveyard and I saw her reciting Fatiha on a few of the graves. And she also stopped at some of the graves and she wept. I waited until she had finished her visitation and then I approached her. And I said, I would like to ask you something. She says, go ahead, ask me. I asked her, tell me clearly and frankly, did the Holy Prophet appoint someone to be his successor after him or not? That was his question. She answered in this way. She says, I am surprised you are asking such a question. Were you yourself not in Ghadir? Were you yourself absent? Were you there in Ghadir? There were so many people there. My father took the hand of Ali alayhi salam and said, Man kuntu mawla. How can it be any clearer than this? This is the way Janab Zahra replied. He had a follow-up question. He said, well, if that is the case, if it is this clear and obvious, then فَمَا بَالُهُ قَعَدَ عَنْ حَقِّهِ. Then why hasn't he risen and taken it by force? Imam Ali alayhi salam, Asadullah, Lion of Allah, the great warrior, the greatest warrior. Why has he not fought for it and he should have taken it if this was so clear? She gave an answer which I think only she can give. She gave a wonderful answer. She says, Mathalul Imam, Mathalul Kaaba. The example of an Imam is the example of the Kaaba. إِذْ تُؤْتَى وَلَا تَأْتِي. It is approached, it doesn't approach. Meaning, it is your job as Shias to be ready for your Imam. It is your job to support your Imam. The Imam is not here as a tyrant to come and rule the world. They have no interest in this world. Someone comes to Amirul Mu'mineen and says, during another occasion, he comes to Amirul Mu'mineen and says, they have taken your rights, they have taken the Khilafah, they have deprived you of your rights. Imam Ali says, what do you think the Khilafat is worth to me? He says, tell me, Mawla. He says, you see this shoe which I patch and I sew with my own hands. This shoe, which normally people would just throw away and get a new shoe. This shoe is worth more to me than the rulership which you say. In other words, the Imams are not there to come and rule the world and they have such a thirst for power and these things. It is us that need the Imam. Janab Fatima is saying that he is like the Kaaba. You go to the Kaaba, Kaaba doesn't come over to you. You encircle the Kaaba, you do the tawaf of the Kaaba. Imam is like this. You need to go to the Imam, you need to be prepared for the Imam. So Azizan, what I'm trying to say is bring Imam Zaman into your life. Allow him to occupy a space in your life. In the beginning, you'll have to work hard. But once you work hard, you'll see the barakat of your life increase. You'll see your tawfiqat increase. You'll see that Imam Zaman plays a role in your life. All of a sudden, there's a sukoon in you. There's a peace and a blessing. There's the ability to sleep properly at night, to wake up nicely in the morning, to look at things as glass half full, optimistic, hopeful, happy. A pleasing life because you have the barakat of Imam Zaman in your life. So how much of a role does he play in our lives? This is what we have to ask ourselves. The barrier to this, let me finish with this. The barrier to this, why do some people find it difficult to bring Imam Zaman into their life? What is the barrier to? The barrier to this is because we don't like to submit to someone else. This is a key human attribute, and this is one of our jihads in this world, is to overcome ourselves and our own selfishness. We generally do not like to come under the authority of anyone else. We don't like anyone telling us what to do. We think we know best. This is why it's very difficult for such a person to submit to the laws of Islam and to Islamic teachings. Imam Zaman, once you bring him into your life, obviously you will now be ashamed of some of the things you are doing. And you'll have to change your life. Because someone who truly believes that my Imam is hazir now, present now, watching me, tara wala tura, he watches although he is not seen himself, tasma'ul kalam, he hears the words of the people, he knows even before I hear my own words that they reach the ears of Imam Zaman, that person now will have to change their life. So, the question remains, are we able to submit in humility, be humble, and bring Imam Zaman into our lives and change our lives? And they will change for the better. Many people don't look at it like this. They say, what is the use of the Imam when he doesn't help me? When he doesn't get involved in Philistine? When he doesn't get involved in the other places in the world which are going through turmoil? What is the use of such an Imam? As I said the other night, if he was to come and to solve all these problems of Philistine and other places, what would we say? We'd say, okay, thank you Imam, your job is done, you can go now. It's not like that. He is Hujjat Khuda. He is the Hujjat of Allah. He is bridging us with Allah. We need him. No matter what the situation is, we need him as a desperate need. We pray to Allah to give us tawfiq and to give us ma'rifat of our beloved Imam. Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Tonight being the fifth night, we now start to remember the specific personalities of Karbala. Tonight is a very heavy night because tonight's shahadat is one that particularly brought a lot of pain to the heart of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. If we were to divide the shuhada, we divide them into two groups. One are the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and one are the family members of Imam Hussein. Amongst the family members, of course, the main personalities are there: Hazrat Qasim, Hazrat Ali Akbar, Hazrat Abbas. And amongst the ashab, you have one amazing particular sahabi that was so beloved to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and that was Habib ibn Mazahir. Habib is the one, imagine the honor of Habib, that when it comes near to the day of Ashura, Hazrat Zainab, she comes to her brother and she says, "Brother, there are tens of thousands of people in front of us and we are barely 72. Is there anyone we can call upon that can come to us in our time of need?" Imam Hussein alayhi salam thinks. Zainab salamullahi alayha says, "Brother, I do remember someone. There was a person in Medina that he used to have such a love for you and he used to have such a level of affection for you that I remember that when you used to fall on the ground, he would be there and he would be picking you up and he would look after you. And that person was Habib. Send a message to Habib." Habib lived in Kufa. Hazrat Habib lived in Kufa. And he was so fortunate. Look at the tawfiq he had. He accompanied Rasulullah. He accompanied Amirul Mu'mineen. He accompanied Imam Hassan. He accompanied Imam Hussein. He was the sahabi of all of these imams. When he arrives in Karbala, he sees Imam Zainul Abidin. He sees Hazrat Imam Muhammad Baqir. Imagine. This is Habib. She says, "Send a message to Habib." Imam Hussein dispatches a messenger. During those days, messages were coming back and forth from Kufa. The messenger of Imam Hussein rides to Kufa. He finds the house of Habib. He delivers the letter to Habib. Habib's servant brings him the letter. Habib, they say, at that moment is with his wife. They are about to begin a meal. When he sees the letter, that this is the letter of Abu Abdullah, Habib begins to cry and kisses the letter. He opens the letter. It is written with such respect by Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein writes to Habib in such a way, he says to the respected scholar Habib, "My dear friend and respected scholar Habib, this is your Hussein. At the moment I am in Karbala. And Habib, at the moment I am surrounded. Habib, I need your help. Will you come to the aid of the son of Zahra?" Habib is moved. Habib's wife asks, "What is this letter? Who has written to you? What is this message?" He says, "This is the message of Hussein ibn Ali, son of Zahra. He is inviting me to Karbala to join him." She says, "Then what are you waiting for?" He says, "I'm worried about you." She says, "Do not worry about me. What answer will we give to Janab Fatima on the day of judgment if we do not answer Hussein?" Habib resolves to go. He calls his servant. He says, "I bid you farewell. You are free. You are no longer in my service." The servant says, "What is this, Mawla? That at the time of you going for the service of the son of Fatima, you let me go? I will not go. I will accompany you." They go, they ride to Karbala. They join the camp of Imam Hussein. When Hazrat Habib walks into the camp, there is a commotion, there is happiness, everyone is happy that Habib has arrived. Janab Zainab asks, "Who has come? What is this commotion?" She is told, "The old friend of your brother Habib has arrived." Janab Zainab says, "Send my salams to Habib." When they give the salams of Zainab to Habib, Habib begins to weep more. He says, "What time is this that to this kind of servant the daughter of Ali is sending her salams?" He is so humbled by the salams of Zainab. When it comes to the day of Ashura, They would not allow a single member of the family of Abu Abdullah to go into the battlefield until all the ashab were killed themselves. Habib says, Mawla, will you give me permission to go? Habib went out. Muslim ibn Awsaja also went out. Both are very elderly. Muslim ibn Awsaja, they say, was around 90 years old. Muslim ibn Awsaja was the first to fight bravely, and he fell. When he fell, both Habib and Imam Hussein rushed to the body of Muslim ibn Awsaja. Muslim ibn Awsaja first sees Imam Hussein. He says, Mawla, tell me one thing. Are you happy with me? Imam Hussein says to him, Muslim, of course I am happy with you. I am happy with you. Rasulullah is happy with you. Habib arrives a few moments later. Habib says to Muslim, Muslim, you are in your last moments. Do you have any final requests, any final will? Do you wish to tell us anything? Muslim looks at the face of Imam Hussein and points to Imam Hussein. Muslim says to Habib, Usika bihada. I advise you, my last wish is that you take care of Abu Abdullah. Do not let anything happen to him. Do not let any calamity befall him. Imam Hussein addresses Allah and says, Oh Allah, bear witness. This is Muslim, your servant, coming back to you. He was one of those who loved us. A few moments later, Habib now goes to fight. They say even at that old age, even at that elderly state of his life, Habib fights so bravely, but at the end of the day, he is now struck down. And he calls out to his beloved Hussein. He says, Abu Abdullah adrikni, O Mawla, come to me. Imam Hussein reaches at the head of Habib. They exchange some final words. Imam Hussein appreciates Habib. Imam Hussein beseeches Allah, Oh Allah, bear witness. This is Habib, your servant, coming back to you. He was one of those who loved the Quran. He was one of those who recited the Quran in one night, the whole of the Quran. He was one of those who memorized the Holy Quran. Habib now, his soul departs from his body. They say Hussein was so alone at that moment. This was his dear Habib. But the position of Habib, if you want to know the position of Habib, you will see that on 12th of Muharram, when Imam Zain al-Abidin comes back to Karbala to bury the bodies, they say that Mawla, we do not know where to bury whom. He says, I will show you where to bury whom. He says, first of all, you dig a mass grave. This is what we know as Ganj Shuhada. The mass grave of most of the Shaheeds are in this grave. And then he said, now we need to dig another separate grave. They said, Mawla, this separate grave is for whom? He says, this separate grave is for the friend of my father Habib. He is special. He should have a separate grave. This is why when we go to Karbala, you see Habib has his own grave. Allah la'natullahi al-qawmi al-zalimin wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayya munqalibin yanqalibun. Matame Hussein.
हबीब कहते थे शाहे हुदा, हबीब कहते थे शाहे हुदा, मेरे हबीब दे गए तुम भी फिराक, ہائے یہ تیری وفا بھولے گا کیوں کربلا، ہائے تیری اے وفا بھولے گا کیوں کربلا، مجھ پہ ہے احسان تیرا اے میرے پیارے حبیب، کہتے تھے شاہ ہدا اے میرے، کہتے تھے شاہ ہدا اے میرے پیارے حبیب، دے گئے تم بھی فراق، ایسی کنارہ کشی شوق محبت نہ تھی، ایسی کنارہ کشی شوق محبت نہ تھی، ہوست پہ یہ کیا کیا اے میرے پیارے حبیب، شاہ ہدا اے میرے پیارے حبیب، کہتے تھے شاہ ہدا حبیب، دے تم بے فراق، ساتھ ہمیشہ رہے ساتھ نہ لیتے گئے، ساتھ ہمیشہ رہے ساتھ نہ لیتے گئے، تم کو یہ لازم نہ تھا اے میرے پیارے حبیب، کہتے تھے شیخ خدا اے میرے، کہتے تھے شاہ خدا، لے گئے تم بھی فراق، عاشق شبیر جا تیرا نگہباں خدا، عاشق شبیر جا تیرا نگہباں خدا، کرتی ہے قسمت جدا اے میرے پیارے حبیب، کہتے تھے شاہ خدا اے میرے پیارے حبیب، اے خدا اے میرے، کہ گئے تم بھی فراق اے میرے، کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا، کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا، دل والوں کے آنکھوں سے ایک دریا بہائے گا، کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا، کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا، وہ کارواں سرور کا جو شان سے نکلا تھا، وہ کارواں سرور کا جو شان سے نکلا تھا، سگرا کو خبر کیا تھی نہ لوٹ کے آئے گا، کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا، کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا، مہمان بلایا ہے اے کوفی سرور کو، مہمان بلایا ہے اے کوفی سرور کو، کیا کنبہ شہیدی کا پانی نہیں پائے گا، کربل کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا، کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا، پامال ہوا قاسم یوں غور و کتابوں سے، پامال ہوا قاسم یوں غور و کتابوں سے، کس طرح چچا تیری میت کو اٹھائے گا کربل کی کہانی کوئی بھی سنائے گا کربل کی کہانی کوئی بھی سنائے گا تھا ہاتھوں کے کتنے کا کچھ غم نہ دلاور کو تھا ہاتھوں کے کتنے کا کچھ غم نہ دلاور کو سیدانیوں کا پردہ اب کون بچائے گا کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا دل والوں کے آنکھوں سے ایک دریا بہائے گا کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین پر محمد و آل محمد صلوات
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم السلام علیکم ابا عبداللہ السلام علیکم رسول اللہ السلام علیکم خدیجہ الکبریٰ السلام علیکم امیر المومنین السلام علیکم فاطمۃ الزہرا سیدۃ نساء العالمین السلام علی الحسین وعلی علی ابن الحسین وعلی اولاد الحسین وعلی اصحاب الحسین جمیعا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ السلام علیکم یا مولا ابن مولا السلام علیکم غریب الغربا السلطان ابو الحسن مولا علی ابن موسیٰ الرضا شفیعنا و شفیع والدی فی یوم الجزاء ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ السلام علیکم صاحب الزمان علمان 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 السلام علیکم خلیفۃ الرحمن السلام علیکم شیخ القرآن السلام علیکم کعبۃ الایمان السلام علیکم امامنا و امام الانس والجن عجل اللہ فرجک وسهل اللہ تعالی مہرجک وسهول الامر ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم اللہم کل ولیک حجت ابن الحسن صلواتک علیہ وعلی آبائہ فی هذه الساعة وفی کل ساعة ولیا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا وذليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم والعصر ان الانسان لفی خسر الا الذین آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر